purchase option. The first thing is you have to have the option agreement. So the option agreement is basically the terms, it's just the terms that you agree between the buyer, so the seller and you. So the option agreement sets out the terms of the transaction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So once the option is in place, that gives you control of the property. So that's the most important thing. That's the first thing. So the option agreement just is the basic, so effectively it's your heads of terms that you put into a legal document. Does that make sense? Any of you done a heads of term before? So you create a heads of terms that say, this is what we're going to be doing with this property over this period of time, these are the payment arrangements. So that's the option agreement. I'll show you a few option agreements later so you get an idea of what's involved. That's the first thing you put in place. The second thing you put in place when you have an option agreement is you have the power of attorney, then you have the letter of authority. So the power of attorney allows you to do anything with that property while you control it. The letter of authority allows you to deal with mortgage lenders, the local authority, anybody else that you need to do in regards to the financial part of the property. Make sense? The next part is called a management agreement. Now let me explain what a management agreement is. So by law in this country, you can't just take over a mortgage and start renting it out. You have to have in place a management agreement that sets out the terms of how you can look after that property at the same time. So you have, one is called the option agreement, and that sets out the terms. Secondly, you have the power of attorney. If it's a husband and wife or more than two people, it could be probate. So whoever is in charge of the property, you need a letter of authority per person. Sorry, power of attorney per person. You have a letter of authority, you have one for individual person each, and then you do a joint one. So these four documents are the four documents that allow you to control the property, for whether it's a short, medium, or long term. Before we go on any further, is there anything further you'd like clarified on either one of these?
You say the management agreement.
Yeah. So management agreement says so that you can actually make the payments on behalf of the borrower directly to the mortgage lender. Normally, you can't make payments on behalf of anybody else. So the borrower has to pay the mortgage lender. But if you have a management agreement in place, the lender will allow you to make payments on behalf of the borrower. Now, one of the reasons why I have the management agreement in place, I don't want to give the money to the owner because they may not pay the mortgage, which means it affects me with the property and what I'm trying to create. So I want to be responsible for paying it. That also means the owner knows that we're paying it. And secondly, I might have something within the option agreement or management agreement that shows the owner every month where I send a bank statement to show that it's been paid. Because they are also worried if you don't pay it. Does that make sense? Yeah. There's a two-way street. You want to make sure you're paying it because you're in control of the rental. You don't want to pay it to them because they might have cash flow issues, and this often is a cash flow issue that they're having. So you want them to know it's being paid, and you want to know it's being paid at the same time. So that's why that's part of the management agreement. It allows you to control the property. Also, the management agreement might be through a company that you own, don't necessarily yourself. And that means you can actually charge a maintenance and all that sort of fee to actually reduce your tax profit on it. So those are the four most important documents that you will need with any kind of option that you put in place.
Yes. And could you just briefly go over the LOA again, please?
Yeah, so letter of authority, so if somebody has a mortgage and you want to speak to the mortgage lender about changing the term, whether it be from interest only to repayment to interest only, part and part, extend the term, changing the product on the mortgage, you need to have a letter of authority. Letter of authority is from the borrower that says you can speak on their behalf to the lender to do with anything and any aspect of their mortgage. It's a really important document.
Yeah.
The power of attorney just says you have wide-ranging powers. Now, there's one thing on letter of authority which you know, if we help you further down the line and when you get your first duel, there's lots of things you need to do. But on the letter of authority, I have 20 signed. One for the husband, one for the wife over partner, and the same jointly. I only have one that's dated, because lenders have an expiry date of the letter of authority. So I have them all pre-signed, and if I need to send another one or 2 years down the line, I've got it. Some of them have an expiry date after 6 months, some have it after a year. So I want to make sure I have enough of these letters of authority that allows me to do it. Now, the other thing that you'll have, which a lot of lawyers don't know,